everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the June 5th, 2025 Kenton County Planning Commission meeting. I'd ask you all to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing for our invocation.
As we, the members of this commission, gather here today, we ask that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render service to our fellow citizens and to our community. Let us continue to strive to make a better world by always keeping in mind the enduring values of life, and let us exert our efforts in those areas upon which future generations may build with confidence.
Amen. All right, thanks for that. All right, Mr. Smith, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Baumgardner. Commissioner Burling.
Here.
Commissioner Bethel.
Here.
Commissioner Bridges.
Present.
Commissioner Dorpool.
Here.
Commissioner DeAngelis. Commissioner Dunham.
Here.
Commissioner France.
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Herman. Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Farr. Commissioner Ryan.
Here.
Commissioner Simpson.
Present.
Commissioner Sketch.
Here.
Commissioner Snyder.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Wickman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. For those in the audience, we have a brief video we'll play regarding our public hearing procedures.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this meeting of the Kenton County Planning Commission. Please listen carefully as we explain tonight's proceedings and how you may participate. For a written copy of these procedures, please refer to the Planning Commission's bylaws. Copies of that section can be found on the table at the back of the room. The Planning Commission's chair will open each public hearing item by reading its description. Our staff will then present facts and make a recommendation based on their investigations. Commission members may then pose questions to clarify those facts and recommendations. The Commission will then hear testimony from the applicant and the public. The applicant and those supporting the proposal will speak first. Those opposed and those who are neutral or who have questions will then be given the opportunity to speak. If you wish to have the option to speak, you must have registered by signing up at the back table. You can decide later if you want to speak. The chair will poll the audience for anyone wishing to speak on the matter. Only those persons who have registered to speak will be allowed to do so. When the chair calls your name, please come forward to the lectern and state your name, address, and affiliation. If you're part of a group, please consider having a spokesperson speak on your behalf. Once a point has been made by a speaker, it is not necessary to state it again multiple times. Stating that you are in agreement with the previous speaker's opinion is sufficient. Finally, speak into the microphone. This meeting is being recorded for broadcast on cable TV, so speaking clearly will help us hear you and guarantee that your comments are part of the record. Our chair will then provide the applicant and opponents time to rebut any comments, address concerns, and answer any questions. The Planning Commission will recess then for discussion. This gives members time to decide if they have what they need to make an informed decision. While this is an open discussion for all to hear, questions or comments from the audience will not be permitted while the public hearing is in recess. When members end their recess and reopen the hearing, they may ask for clarifications from staff or anyone who gave testimony. They will then close the public hearing and proceed towards a motion, a second, and a vote. Subdivision and waiver decisions are final and go no further. Text and map amendment decisions become recommendations that are sent on to elected officials in the jurisdiction where the site is located. These elected officials have the final say in zoning matters. Feel free to leave once the item in which you are interested has been heard. Items on tonight's agenda were advertised as required by law. Our staff posted a sign on the site and sent notices to property owners when required by state and local law. You do not have to have received one of these notices to speak. Everyone's comments are welcomed. Before we begin, please keep these rules in mind. There are two exits from this room. One is located at the rear of the room. The other is located in the alcove ahead and to your right. Under normal circumstances, please leave the room by the door through which you entered. Fire codes prohibit blocking these doors or the aisles. Please keep these areas clear of chairs and any belongings you may have brought with you. In an emergency, please use whichever exit is closest and use the stairwell outside this room to exit the building. Restrooms and a drinking fountain are available directly adjacent to the elevators. Smoking is not permitted in the building. Food and drinks are not permitted in the public section of this room. Please turn off your cell phone or set it to vibrate so as not to interrupt our proceedings. Thank you for joining us this evening. This process works because citizens like you step up and participate. If you have questions about our processes or issues heard this evening, please do not hesitate to contact our staff here at PDS.
All right, thank you for that. The next item of business is the ratification of Commissioner Wickman's appointment. The Ryland Heights seat was vacant for an extended period of time, and by statute, we have then, as the Planning Commission, the ability to fill that role. When we reached out and talked to the mayor of Ryland about having Mr. Wickman fill that seat, he thought that was a great idea, but he wanted the city council to make the appointment, so the city council made the appointment. And speaking with Mr. Smith, from a legal standpoint, it's probably best just to dot our I's and cross our T's by also ratifying that appointment as the full commission, just so if somebody would say that we didn't follow the statute and that the city should not have been able to make that appointment. Did I say that right?
That's right, just the belt and suspenders.
Great.
Ratify it.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to ratify the appointment of Commissioner Wickman.
So moved.
First by Commissioner Darple. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sketch. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And noting that Commissioner Wickman abstained from that. Thank you. All right, we have this month's agenda in front of you. Anybody have any changes to it? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
First by Commissioner Sketch. Is there second by Commissioner Bethel? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We have the May 1st, 2025 meeting minutes. I know I'd provided some changes, and I think Mr. Bridges did, so we'll get those recirculated. I don't know, give everybody a chance to look at them. So we'll pass on that. Report of receipts and expenditures. You should have that for the month of April. Any questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the receipts and expenditures.
I'll make a motion to approve the receipts and
Is
expenditures.
there a second?
I'll second.
All right, first by Commissioner Ryan, second by Commissioner Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. You have the report of last month's actions by staff, which were the subdivision plats that have been approved. Any questions? And then there's no report for last month's actions by our legislative bodies because there were none. That brings us to, we have two public facility reviews tonight. The first one is file number PC-25-0004-PF. This is a Covington Public Facility Review. The applicant is the Kleinger's Group on behalf of Covington Independent Public Schools. The location is 501 West 19th Street in Covington, an area of approximately 7.07 acres located southeast of Glen Swing Elementary School between Chapman Court and West 20th Street and West 21st Street. The request is a public facility review per KRS 100.324 and KRS 147.680. The applicant is proposing improvements to the existing softball baseball diamond. This includes demolition of existing features and installation of new bleachers, a scoreboard, bullpen, batting cage, parking lot and field lighting, walkways, fences, retaining walls, and drainage systems. Mr. Sheets.
Before, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Just before, I just need to recuse myself because I sit on the board for Covington Independent School. So
All right, so we'll note that Commissioner Simpson has recused himself and is leaving the room. Now, Mr. Sheets.
So thank you. For the record, my name is Cody Sheets with PDS staff. As the chair stated, this is a public facilities review for improvements to an existing softball diamond. This includes demolition of existing features and installation of new bleachers, a scoreboard, bullpen, batting cage, parking lot, and field lighting. As a reminder, KRS requires public facilities to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission decision is not binding on the facility and is an advisory review on the facility's compliance with the comprehensive plan. So the site is located within the urban sub-area of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The site in question is approximately 7.07 acres and is located between Chapman Court to the north, an alley and residential homes to the east, West 21st Street to the south, and Franklin Street to the west. The site is the location of the Glen O. Swing Elementary School and an existing athletic field. The school serves roughly 450 students. Here we have an eagle view of the property. The parcel boundaries are in blue, and you can see the green thumbtack. The nearby streets are identified in red. And the softball field where the proposed changes will take place is highlighted in yellow there. This is an image from October 2024 looking southwest onto the site from Chapman Court. This is an image from that same time period looking south down the alleyway between the existing softball field and the nearby residential homes. And here we have another image looking at the field. This is an image from the same time period looking south from the school parking lot. And this is an image from August 2024 looking east at the site from Center Street up on the hill. The current zoning is SU or semi-urban. The surrounding area is a mixture of semi-urban and CMU or commercial mixed use. The existing land use is institutional, and the surrounding area is a mixture of single and multifamily residential, along with areas that are open space, commercial, and industrial further out. Here we have the existing conditions. The property boundaries highlighted in red, the existing fence, and the existing benches and dugout in green and yellow there. And here's a slightly closer view. This was the submitted site plan. The site plan does include retaining walls with a 4-foot fence behind it in purple. The proposed bleachers behind home plate in blue. 2 turf ball pins in green. A new scoreboard in red. 2 60-foot light poles for field lighting in yellow.
Andy.
Proposed parking lot lighting and a 20-foot fence with black mesh. And here we have a slightly closer view of that site plan. Franklin Street and the surrounding streets are classified as local streets. Highland Avenue to the north is classified as a major urban collector. There are sidewalks on most adjoining streets, and the area is highly walkable. There is also a tank bus stop route roughly half a mile away. The proposed addition and renovations are consistent with the recommended land use plan, which does identify the site for other community facilities. There are some developmentally sensitive areas along the western and southern edge of the property, but the majority of the improvements are located outside of the DSA area, although one of the proposed retaining walls is located near or within that DSA area. Staff did conduct a review of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan, and we do find areas of consistency. The existing softball diamond is a recreational asset in a dense and walkable urban neighborhood, which the proposed renovations will improve. And KRS 100.324 states that public facilities must be reviewed by the Planning Commission. KRS 100.361 states that instrumentalities of the state are exempt from zoning requirements. And staff finds that the submitted public facilities request is generally consistent with the goals, objectives, and recommendations of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The proposed renovations will allow for the continued utilization of the athletic field while providing updated amenities that provide for better functionality. So Covington Independent Schools is an instrumentality of the state government and therefore exempt from local zoning regulations. However, in order to ensure the proper integration of the proposed development into the surrounding area, staff does have the following recommendations. One being a land disturbance permit would be required if the disturbed area is greater than 1 acre. Building and electrical permits may also be applicable. In regards to the lighting, after-hours lighting should be limited to that only necessary for security purposes, and attempts shall be made to not spill over onto adjacent properties. In regards to parking, the Neighborhood Development Code does allow for a minimum of 0 parking spaces, but consideration should be given as to how the addition of the new bleachers may potentially factor into the need for increased utilization of the existing parking. This shall be weighed against the balance of the existing parking lot and nearby on-street parking, though. And finally, in regards to fences, those types of fences are not allowed in the semi-urban area, but similar fences are allowed in what would be the recreational district of a height of 7 to 12 feet. It is recommended that the school district consider a height of 12 feet unless specific circumstances necessitate a height of 20 feet. And I'd be more than happy to take any questions at this time.
That was great. Any questions for Mr. Sheets?
I got one question.
Yeah.
If the school district's exempt from zoning, are they not exempt from other reviewing agencies like SD1? Do they have to get a land disturbance permit? Because if you get a land disturbance permit, they would have to provide detention, I would think.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And as far as I'm aware, they any other agency that has standards would still apply. We're just talking about specifically related to KRS 100. So other agencies, there still may be additional permitting and requirements.
Well, okay, then I guess SD1 may require them to do detention.
So I believe within the city of Covington, they do their own stormwater review and permitting. They withdrew from the SD1 jurisdiction, so that would all, be handled by the city.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Anything else? Yeah, Mr. Brown.
Cody, I'm sure the field lighting is new. Are the parking lights new as well, or are there existing parking lot lights?
The applicant may be able to better answer that. I know they are proposing new lighting, though.
Anyone else?
Just one question.
Yeah, Commissioner Ryan.
Mr. Sheets, on that fencing, the 20-foot.
Yep.
In that particular zone, is there a height specification for courts or recreational sporting aspects as opposed to?
Right. So unfortunately, within that particular district, there's not, because it is exclusively a residential district.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. Okay, I have signed up to speak Jackson, is it Jaggers? Jagger? Would you like to?
I'll defer to Brad.
I'm sorry?
You all have the green light on the mic?
Yes.
Okay.
We've lost our audio, I guess. I'm sorry, do you have anything you wanted to add?
I don't have anything I need to say.
Okay, all right. And then I have Brad.
Daniela, yeah, you're good.
Thank you. Will you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep.
Brad Dagnello, 6219 Center Park Drive, here with the Kleinger's Group, the applicant on behalf of the school district. So if now's the time to answer the questions on behalf of the applicant, we can do that. Okay, excellent. I think a couple of clarifications I just want to make on the presentation, mostly covered it. The entire field is going to be synthetic turf, not just the bullpens. There's 4 new light poles for the sports field lighting going in, 2 in the outfield, 2 back around the dugouts to get coverage on the field. Those are directed lights down, the same lights that they put in over at the stadium and at their baseball field that has synthetic turf. They're trying to keep that equally over to the softball field. The question on the parking lot lighting, there's 2 light poles in the parking lot right now. Those are being replaced, but to remain in the same location, same intent. A 20-foot fence down the third base line. It's 20 foot down the line, but around home plate, the backstop is 24-foot fence. Just want to make sure that that's clear. When we talk about the 12-foot recommendations, the existing fence out there right now is roughly 16 foot tall. That runs down the third base line, along the alley, trying to keep all the baseball, softballs in play from going into the neighborhood. So that's why we're showing it to be a taller fence to not make the situation any worse by lowering that fence down the left or down the third base line. So we're going to be over to 12 foot to try to maintain as many softballs as we can. And then lastly on the permits, so we've gone through the permitting process SD1 with the City of Covington for land disturbance permit and stormwater management detention. So.
Any questions for our applicant? You're going to get off easy. No questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I also have Jared Hutchinson signed up, but I think that's for the other matter. There's another sign-in sheet, so make sure you sign for the Fort Wright matter. If you look at the top, it'll say. Okay. All right. So I don't have anyone signed up opposed. I have no one neutral. We'll recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners. Looks like a good project. Yeah. So, all right. We'll return to public hearing. Any clarifications needed of the staff or others? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and we'll entertain a motion. And as you recall, so with Commissioner Simpson recusing himself, we don't have any of our other Covington reps, so I'm going to need somebody else to make the motion. But on these, we're just being asked if we believe it's in accordance with the comprehensive plan. Anyone like to make a motion?
Make the motion. File PC 25-0004 PF, the public facilities new or replacement of the field at Glen Oaks Wings Elementary School between Chapman, West 20th and West 21st. With regard to the public facilities review per KRS 100 and 147, I would move that that it is in accordance with the comprehensive plan.
All right. First by Commissioner Vaughn, second by Commissioner Bethel. Mr. Smith, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Bethel? Yes. Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner Garpool? Yes. Commissioner Dunham?
Yes.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sketch?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Commissioner Wigdon?
Yes.
Commissioner Burling?
Yes.
And it is approved.
All right. Thank you to our applicant, and good luck with the project. All right. The next item is also a public facility review. It's file number PC-25-0005-PF. It's a Ryland Heights Public Facility Review. The applicant is Erpenbeck Consulting Engineers, Inc., per Kevin Berger, on behalf of the City of Ryland Heights. The location is 9975 Locust Pike in Ryland Heights, an area of approximately 10.97 acres located on the north side of Locust Pike, approximately 400 feet west of White's Road. The request is a public facility review per KRS 100.324 and KRS 147.680. The applicant proposes the construction of an approximately 3,000 square foot community center with 31 off-street parking spaces. Mr. Sheets.
So thank you. Again, for the record, my name is Cody Sheets with PDS staff. As the chair stated, this is a public facilities review for the construction of an approximately 3,000 square foot community center with 31 off-street parking spaces. The site is located within the rural sub-area of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The site totals 10.97 acres and is located north of Locust Pike. It's approximately 0.6 miles west of DeCourcy Pike as the crow flies. It is currently a vacant lot, and the surrounding area is rural in character. This is an image taken in May looking into the site from Locust Pike. This is an image from the same time period looking east from Locust Pike, showing another angle with the site being on the left side of the road. Here we have an image looking west from Locust Pike, showing another angle with the site being on the bottom right. And here we have an eagle view of the property looking northeast. You can see Locust Pike there in red. And the area in yellow is where the new construction will take place. This was the submitted site plan. In blue, we have the main building, which is approximately 3,000 square feet. In orange, we have the parking lot, which has 29 parking spaces plus 2 handicap spaces. In gray, we have a loading area extending from the northern end of the parking lot. And in red, we have a septic tank to the rear of the proposed building. Locust Pike is classified as a local road. DeCourcy Pike is classified as a major collector. And no sidewalks currently exist along this portion of Locust Pike. The recommended land use map identifies the area as agricultural and rural uses. The proposed development is generally consistent with the recommended land use of agriculture and rural uses, which anticipates small-scale services in close proximity to serve the needs of residents within the immediate vicinity. A small-scale community center is consistent with this description. The site does contain numerous areas of DSA, blue line streams, and flood areas throughout, but the site plan indicates that the proposed development will be located within the portion of the site that does not contain DSA, blue line streams, or flood areas. And staff did conduct a review of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan, and we do find the following areas of consistency. And the next 2 slides are the areas from KRS 100, which state the relation of public facilities to the Planning Commission. And staff does find that the submitted public facilities request is generally consistent with the goals, objectives, and recommendations of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. We do find that the proposed construction of the Ryland Heights Community Center will provide a service which will enhance the lives of residents in the immediate vicinity. So Ryland Heights is an instrumentality of the state and therefore exempt from zoning. However, in order to ensure the proper integration into the surrounding area, staff does have the following recommendations. Building height within the A1 residential zone shall not exceed 35 feet. The height of the building was not indicated on the site plan, but it shall not exceed 35 feet. Efforts shall be made to meet requirements for excavation, movement of soil, and tree removal and erosion. Efforts shall also be made to meet requirement standards for hillside development controls if any construction is proposed within areas of DSA, and where vegetative and or topographic conditions provide a natural screening and buffer prior to development of the property in question, every effort shall be made to retain such conditions. And I'd be more than happy to take any questions at this time.
All right. Any questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Sheets. All right. I just had one person that signed up. I have Mr. Ray Erpenbeck. Mr. Erpenbeck, you have anything you'd like to add?
Thank you. I'm Ray Erpenbeck Engineers. I'm here representing the city of Ryland Heights, so mainly just to answer questions. The staff's report pretty well covers everything.
Pretty straightforward.
That's why we like the engineers to do the presentation instead of lawyers.
Short, to the point. Any questions other than Mr. Darple's statement, which is correct?
I second the statement.
All right, you're off the hook. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here. It's good to see you, Mr. Erpenbeck. All right. Okay, so we will recess the public hearing for discussion amongst commissioners. Straightforward project. Any issues? No? All right, we'll return to the public hearing. Any clarifications needed of staff or Mr. Erpenbeck? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. We'll entertain a motion whether we believe the public facilities project is in accordance with the comprehensive plan. Mr. Wickman, as our Ryland rep, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move that concerning file PC 25-0005 PF, the public facility review per KRS 100.324 and KRS 147.680 be accepted as consistent generally with the current Kenton County comprehensive plan.
All right, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Darple. Mr. Smith, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Darple,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sketch,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Commissioner Bethel,
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
and it's approved.
All right, thanks again, Mr. Erpenbeck. Good luck with the project. All right.
Commissioner Wickman joined the commission. We had a Ryland Heights
I
application.
know.
Are we going to be expecting a flow of Ryland Heights?
That's why we got him. We knew it was a hotbed of development.
Making big things happen.
Shaking it up for
All right, nice job on his presentations, Mr. Sheets, very good. All right, now on to the public hearings portion of it. The first item that we have is file number PC-25-0006-MA, Fort Wright Map Amendment. The applicant is Carlson Consulting Engineers per Jared Hutchison on behalf of H. Lee Scott Jr., trustee. The location is 3450 Valley Plaza Parkway in Fort Wright. It's an area of approximately 24.84 acres located along the west side of Valley Plaza Parkway between Viewpoint Drive and Highland Pike. The request is an amended concept development plan with the PUD planned unit development zone of the Fort Wright zoning ordinance. The applicant proposes to construct an approximately 4,973 square foot addition onto the southeast front left corner of the existing Walmart Supercenter, designate and redesign certain parking spaces for pickup only and delivery truck parking, install new parking lot signage, and restripe all of the existing paved areas on the lot. Mr. Vidakovich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Andy Vidakovich with staff. As the chairman just stated, this is a revised concept development plan for the existing Walmart in Fort Wright. They are proposing to do in addition, as well as to make some changes to their off-street parking area. So the site is within the first ring suburban sub-area. It's located on the west side of Madison Pike, and it's located just to the north of the interchange of Madison Pike with I-275. The site itself contains the Walmart Supercenter. The area is characterized by suburban commercial consisting of various restaurants and retail uses. Areas to the west and northwest of the site are suburban style single-family residential. So this is a view looking northeast along Valley Plaza Parkway from the southern access point into the existing Walmart. The existing Walmart is going to be on the left-hand side. This is a view looking into the Walmart site from that southern access point. And this is looking at the corner of the building where the proposed improvements will be made. I'm trying to pull up my laser pointer here. So this is the side of the building, the general location of where these improvements will be made. This is looking northwest along Valley Plaza Parkway from the northern access point into the Walmart. So this is a Google Earth view of the Walmart property. Madison Pike is located in the foreground. Valley Plaza is located on the opposite side of, there's a Burger King and a Chick-fil-A and the Buffalo Wild Wings shopping area. And again, on the left-hand side of the existing Walmart building and in the off-street parking area is where the proposed changes will be made. So there's quite a bit of history with this Walmart site, going back to 2000. In 2000, the city of Fort Wright denied a zone change to rezone the property. However, there was a subsequent litigation following that decision, and there was eventually a settlement agreement between the city and the developer at the time that resulted in an agreement, and therefore Fort Wright subsequently adopted an ordinance which approved the zone change. Following that, there were some various Stage 2 development plans that were submitted and approved for the existing conditions on the site. So the site, as well as all the adjacent parcels, is currently zoned PUD. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's single-family zoning located to the west. And the site, as well as the surrounding area, is basically reflective of the zoning, which is commercial. Some of the hillside, which is vacant, is identified for open spaces. And then, again, you see the residential further away up at the top of the hill. Mobility element, Valley Plaza is a local street. Highland and Madison are arterial streets, and Orphanage Road is a collector. So to set up the review of the site, the Walmart Supercenter is currently 183,000, almost 184,000 square feet, with a total of 854 off-street parking spaces. So the submitted development plan, it shows the overall site. Valley Plaza is going to be located at the bottom of this, and you see in the red there that's going to be the proposed almost 5,000 square foot addition. So there's Valley Plaza, that's the existing Walmart, and then you see the red area, that's the proposed addition. The yellow area shows where they plan to redo some of the off-street parking spaces. So the applicant states that this addition, as well as the off-street parking spaces, will be used up for their pickup services. It will result in the removal of 12 existing off-street parking spaces along that side of the building. And then this is a closer look. So again, you see the red area. That's the addition. Let's see here what I can do. There will be an addition of 31 off-street parking spaces, but as I said, some of them will actually, it'll actually result in a net reduction of off-street parking because they're actually going to be restriping and removing them, some of the spaces. And there will be signs indicating that these spaces are for pickup only. So, as I stated, there will be a net loss of 27 off-street parking spaces, bringing that total down to 804 spaces. However, based on the current zoning requirements, there's 630 spaces required based on a store of this size. So, even with the loss of almost 30 spaces, there's still plenty of off-street parking being provided. Oh, and just to note, as part of this overall plan, the applicant does plan to do general restriping and repainting of the parking lot, as well as the light poles and existing signposts too. And finally, and this goes back to the settlement with the city. The city during that settlement, they adopted design guidelines for the whole planned unit development. The applicant does note that the existing and proposed elevation designs will conform to all city requirements and design guidelines. So staff conducted a full review of the comprehensive plan. Staff finds that the proposed development will promote a business-friendly environment and will help maintain the quality of an older commercial area. The recommended land use identifies the site for commercial uses. And the rear portion of the site is identified for a developmentally sensitive area. However, there's not going to be any improvements on that portion of the site. So state statute states that when considering a map amendment, that the Planning Commission must consider whether it's in agreement with the comprehensive plan, or that the existing zoning is inappropriate, or that there have been major changes that were not anticipated with the adopted plan. So staff has given this a favorable recommendation. Staff finds that this is generally consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff also finds that it's generally consistent with the Fort Wright zoning regulations. As is generally the case with concept plans, if this is approved, we will require additional information with the final development plan. I've listed those here. They're listed in the staff report as well. These are just there, again, to remind the applicant that additional information is going to be required in these areas. So I'll be happy to answer your questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Bedekovich?
I'm just curious, does the zoning ordinance in any way differentiate between required parking for retail versus designated for pickup?
No, it's just a single requirement.
Good question. Anyone else?
And I'm sorry, I did forget one piece of information.
Yeah.
Just for the record, the city has adopted that alternative approval procedure. So if anybody disagrees or feels the city should make the final decision, there's the paperwork over there on the table.
Right. And so if we recommend approval and nobody appeals it, when is it 21 days?
21 days, yeah.
21 days after it become effective, so. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Bedekovich, nice job. All right, I have just one person signed up, Mr. Hutchison, applicant. Do we have any questions for the applicant? All right, Mr. Ryan's got a question for you. If you can come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Jared Hutchison. I'm with Carlson Consulting Engineers. We're based out of Bartlett, Tennessee.
Just a quick question. On the yellow depiction up there, that's where the EV charging stations and buses are?
Correct.
And then beyond that, is that public parking or is that all facilitated for the delivery aspect?
I mean, those spaces there that are kind of grayed out, those will be all for the pickup related.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll be segregated from people shopping at home or?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Any other questions? All right, thanks for being here. Okay, we will recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners. Makes sense. Any concerns? No?
I made a comment a couple months ago about these traffic studies. Are they taking account into these delivery services? And this is kind of proving my point.
Yeah.
Because this is becoming bigger and bigger. Like Amazon will be in my neighborhood when I go home tonight. Like it's all day, every day. And it's not just Amazon. It's Walmart, DoorDash, Uber Eats. So kind of proving my point. Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? If not, we'll return to the public hearing and clarifications needed. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. We'll entertain a motion. Fort Wright rep.
I'll make a motion. Regarding file number PC-25-0006-MA, the applicant on behalf of H. Lee Scott Jr. trustee. The request for a map amendment, and the applicant to propose to construct an approximate 5,000 square foot addition to the southeast corner of Walmart, redesign the certain parking spaces as well as delivery truck pickup areas, install new parking lot signage, and restripe the existing paved areas. I propose we approve the map amendment based on staff's recommendations, consistent with the comprehensive plan, recommended land usage, and it also meets the Fort Wright zoning regulations.
All right. Second. Second by, was it Commissioner Sketch? Commissioner Sketch. All right, Mr. Smith, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Burling?
Yes.
Commissioner Sketch?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman?
Yes.
Commissioner Bethel?
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner Darkle? Yes. Commissioner Dunham?
Yes.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
And the motion is approved.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Okay, last but not least, Mr. Baker. Our next item is file number PC-25-0004-TX, Crescent Springs Text Amendment. The applicant is the City of Crescent Springs, per Mike Daly, the City Administrator. The request is the City of Crescent Springs seeks to replace the current zoning ordinance with a new zoning ordinance that recognizes Crescent Springs development patterns, streamlines processes, and addresses new development trends. Mr. Vidakovich.
All right, thank you again, Andy Vidakovich with staff. As the chair stated, this is for the adoption of a new zoning ordinance for the City of Crescent Springs. As we always like to do, we do like to recognize the folks that work with staff over many years to go through this ordinance. As you can see, there was quite a large number of folks that were a part of the working group from a number of different backgrounds, including Mr. Sketch, folks from the city, elected officials as well. So again, we like to thank those folks because they spend a lot of time with us doing this project. So this was a three-year project. We began working with the city in 2022. In March of this year, staff presented the ordinance to City Council at a caucus meeting, and then the City Council voted to authorize the application to the Planning Commission. And then in April of this year, the Z21 Review Committee met to review and make a recommendation on the new zoning ordinance. So one of the major parts with all of these new zoning ordinances is simplifying the number of zoning districts. You can see the number of zoning districts on the left-hand side in the current ordinance is 26 separate zoning districts. The proposed ordinance will reduce this number down to a total of 14. However, with that being said, it should be noted, and this is the zoning map on the screen, that although the number of zoning districts is being reduced and the names are changing, that areas that are currently zoned for single-family or multifamily are going to remain single-family or multifamily, and areas that are zoned industrial, commercial, mixed use, et cetera, are still going to remain the commercial, equivalent commercial or industrial mixed use zones under the new zoning ordinance. We'll just take a closer look at areas of the city. So this is the northeast part of the city. Most of this area is residential. This includes the neighborhoods around Riverwatch Drive, Forest Hill Drives, and the Triple Lake Drive. This area will be zoned the RCVS, the Residential Conventional Subdivision, which is the bright yellow color there, and allows for medium-sized lots. The neighborhoods around Rosewood and Linden Hill will be zoned large lot residential, and then this area also contains those two blue areas are the only two PUDs within the city, and those PUDs, those approved plans, standards, everything that was approved for those areas will remain when the new zoning is adopted.
What are those?
Let's see. Waterford, Edenberry Drive, located including Waterford, Edenberry. I don't know what. No, it's not the Home Depot. And actually, this one that's along Bromley Crescent Springs Road here, I believe that was rezoned. That was almost 20 years ago, back when I started, and nothing's ever been done with that. So it's just a vacant hillside. Yeah, thank you. This is the middle central portion of the city. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. It is currently a mixture of mixed-use zones. There's currently 2 mixed-use zones. Those will be combined to a single mixed-use zone. There's an office zone along Buttermilk Pike. It still will be a zone for offices, but that'll become the business park zone. Old Crescent Springs, which includes Ferncliff, Western Reserve, and Horton Street, will be designated residential urban, reflecting the smaller lot sizes of the area. There's numerous multifamily zones, and the church properties along Buttermilk Pike will be zoned for institutional uses. And then the southwest part of the city, this includes the reserves at Meadowwood, will still be zoned for single-family uses. So just to summarize again, the changes in the number of zones, you see the current number on the left-hand side there, 26. We're going down to 14, basically a reduction in almost all the zoning categories. Some other highlights that we like to touch on, as we do with all of these cities, we use our Link GIS to analyze the existing conditions and to see if there's any changes that are needed to be made to the development standards within the zoning districts. Most civic and institutional uses will be zoned to institutional, as I mentioned, which is a new zoning district for the city. The city is allowing for the minor modifications for staff to be able to make some minor modifications based on certain project-specific situations. The city did decide to include the commercial design standards. However, residential design standards will not be included. The city has decided to permit short-term rentals in a couple of different ways. So owner-occupied will be conditional uses within single-family zones. Non-owner-occupied will be conditional uses within the residential urban, the multifamily zones, and permitted within commercial, business, and mixed-use zones. The city is also deciding to permit 2-family dwellings within the compact subdivision, the urban, residential, and the multifamily zones. And then finally, the city will permit accessory dwelling units as conditional uses within residential zones. The city has also decided to implement the 21-day alternative map amendment procedures, along with the concurrent variances and conditional uses procedures that allow the Planning Commission to hear and decide conditional uses and variances as part of map amendments. The approval processes for final development plans, major and minor changes, has also been smoothed out and made consistent across the zones. Staff will have the final approval on final development plan and be able to make the determinations on the major and minor changes. And finally, the signage section of the ordinance is being reorganized into a new format with the regulations from the existing zoning ordinance. So there are, of course, things that are not changing. As I mentioned earlier, anything that was previously approved, so this is like PUDs, conditional uses, variances, things like that, those approvals all carry forward. So if someone received an approval for a variance under the current zone, they wouldn't need to go and seek another approval under the new zoning regulations. Hillside development controls, floodplain regulations, odor, noise, and dust control, those are all remaining. And finally, no changes to the sexually oriented business regulations. So staff did look at the comprehensive plan and finds that as Crescent Springs is a mostly built-out community, there are a few opportunities for new development, but not many. The new zoning ordinance will place an emphasis on maintaining the existing character of its neighborhood and remove barriers for existing homeowners. And then when new development does occur, it's important to meet the city's long-term goals and objectives. Yes.
By removing barriers for homeowners.
Sure. So that comes down to some of the flexibility and the minor administrative modifications that are allowed. So like if the minor modification is like a zoning administrator can approve like a 10% reduction in a certain requirement. So, if someone needs like a 1 foot setback or even a couple inches, we can do that administratively. So that's the sort of thing.
Okay.
Yep. So staff has given this a new favorable recommendation. Staff finds that it meets the requirements of KRS 100. It's consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, and it's also consistent with the recommended land use map. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
All right, that's excellent. Questions?
Andy, just two, and I apologize because I didn't get a chance to go and look at all the text on this, but on your character, did they take, and I'm familiar enough with the model code that you all start with, but the commercial building standards, did they just take those en bloc, or were they just pick parts of it, or what they end up doing?
Sure. They took what was recommended by the consultant, so as it was proposed.
So pretty much the entire language?
Yes.
Yeah. And then there was the congestion management corridors and that process. Can you explain that so folks understand that? We're talking about traffic and all that sort of thing, and this is aimed at trying to help out with that. I mean, I think it's a good thing,
yeah,
but I want people to understand what it is.
Sure. Yeah, so it's basically a traffic impact study or an access management plan, but not for an individual site. So right now that's how we kind of like review these things, is on a site-by-site basis, but there's not a whole lot of coordination along an entire corridor. And that's what these congestion management corridors and access management plans are. So it's something that's going to require further follow-up with the city, or as new development comes in, something that they're going to have to address. But again, it's just an attempt to try to get some more coordination between these individual businesses rather than looking at things piece by piece.
All right, thanks for that clarification. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Andy. Mr. Baker.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank your all's promptness because I've been here very late with previous hearings. The staff, Mr. Vidakovich said it much better than I can, and I do thank the staff of the city and the people who worked on this committee and the mayor for supporting it. This is really a path forward for the city. We'll see what happens over the next few years as businesses change and the character changes. One thing that's unfortunately this doesn't address and can't is traffic in Crescent Springs is still going to be too darn heavy, but that's just the nature of where we are right now. So,
thanks for being here. Any questions for Mr. Baker? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I must have done a good job as a lawyer today.
That's right. There you go.
You didn't have
I
to,
saw him sitting back there. He's evil eyeing me earlier.
You didn't even have to slam your fist on
That's right.
the podium. Right? All right. Let's see. Let's recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners.
I just wanted to thank and send out kudos to Patrick Demba, who was the staff member. We went through a lot of meetings, some not contentious meetings, but a lot of discussion. And Patrick did a great job keeping everybody on track and going through these regulations one by one. Is pretty big task. So I want to thank him. I'm sorry he's not here tonight because I would like to thank him personally.
Yeah, I've noticed that about him. I mean,
he hangs in there even if it's a grind, and he still maintains a really positive attitude about it. It's very, very nice. It's kind of rare in life. All right, any other? Yeah, Mr. Bridges.
As chair of the C21 committee, our committee did vet this and go over with the city and with staff, and we did come out with a favorable recommendation, and we checked going through it.
All right, thanks for that clarification. Any other?
No, the only comment I ever have is it's just one of the many things, and it's just a difference of opinion. I'm just never in favor of these character standards are far too restrictive, and these things don't belong in here to the extent they have them, in my opinion. But that's only my opinion. That's just a difference of opinion, which is why we have a bunch of people on the commission and not just one. But
can you, in 45 seconds,
No.
explain to the newer commissioners who've not heard this position, the difference between?
It's just, and I've been on the soapbox too many times about these things, but when you start getting into what windows have to go in, what door frames, what a look has to be, and be very specific about all that, I don't think that's what our job is here. There are certain people that want to bring brands in, and especially on a commercial side, and they want something to have a certain look, and then you're going to put zoning regulations in and say you just can't have that look, even because that's, it's not what we necessarily want here, and I just don't think that's where we're supposed to be. You can restrict it to some extent, in my opinion, but that's not where we are. Different. It's just a difference of opinion, but I don't think that belongs in the zoning regs to that extent. To the extent they do.
I think a very good example is the previous application with the Walmart. That whole area was a development that had to have native buff-colored brick, certain window blinds, certain mullions, all these things, and the progress in that area stagnated for many years because you had to have 5 acres. So you had to get, if you were Burger King, you had to get with the next guy to get 5 acres to do something. And I think the city eventually overturned that, and it started booming as a business. So in certain areas, I could see where that's beneficial. If you have a small community and you're trying to get a certain look and nothing exists there, so you're building anew. But if you're trying to build on old stock and now you got to convert everything, it makes it rather difficult, and investment kind of lags. So I kind of agree with Paul.
And I do want to make sure we understand that's one little tiny piece of this. Right. So I there's no way would I vote this down because of that little thing that I happen to have a difference of opinion on. But I think that's worth noting just down the road. We ought to look at that closely. I just recommend anybody that's working on these, look at that as you're doing this.
All right. Any other discussion points? Nope. All right. We'll return to the public hearing. Do we need clarifications? If not, we'll close the public hearing and we will entertain a motion. Mr. Sketch?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. File number PC-2025-0004-TX, Crescent Springs Text Amendment. City of Crescent Springs to replace the current zoning ordinance with a new zoning ordinance that recognizes Crescent Springs development patterns, streamlined processes, and addresses new development trends. I recommend approval.
All right. First, on the basis?
On the basis of the staff report. I don't know what it was. Consistent with the comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Burling. Mr. Smith, please call the roll.
Commissioner Sketch?
Yes.
Commissioner Burling?
Yes.
Commissioner Bethel?
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner Darpool?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham?
Yes.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman?
Yes.
It is approved.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Baker. Thank the city for all their tenacity to work through this, and hopefully it works well for you. Thank you. All right, that ends our public hearings. We have reports from committees. Bylaws and social media are on there, but as you recall, we've amended our bylaws to remove those as standing committees. So no reports there. Direction 2030 implementation.
Yeah, we have just a quick.
Oh, can I stop you just for a second? So you hear that humming?
Yeah.
That if your phone, we used to be, we would think like if it was, you were hit it right next to the mic, but literally if it's on this table, it really does cause that stuff. I was like the only person in here earlier today, and I mean, you just get your phone right here and that's start. So it's Paul. So if we,
Mine's been on my lap.
yeah, right. If you can speak straight in the mic, then he doesn't have to turn the gain up, which causes feedback. So, all right, Commissioner Simpson.
Are we good?
Yes.
Just a pretty quick update. Mostly, we didn't meet last month. We are going to meet this month to talk about setting benchmarks for implementation or for the comp plan. But this is more about, I guess the report we have is to give you a little bit of update on the request for proposals that that staff put out to help with a couple of deliverables that came out of the comp plan. So I was asked to lend a hand in helping select a contractor to help with two specific deliverables, and it's on the screen, an in-depth recommendation portfolio with potential infrastructure recommendations for income-aligned development. Now these are just recommendations, they aren't mandates, just recommended areas in the county. Also, a robust strategic marketing campaign, because once we still need to kind of inform our residents what income-aligned housing is, what are the benefits, what are the detriments to it, and just give them a little bit of an idea what it is. So those are two major deliverables that we asked for the contractors. And so with the process, we did receive two very qualified submissions. We went through a robust kind of strategic plan on the qualifications of the contractors before we interviewed both contractors. And also, even after we interviewed the contractors, we actually reached out to both of the applicants for additional clarifying information. And again, just to reiterate, my role in this was just to help serve as to clarify any alignment with the comprehensive plan, to help staff do that. Also, I submitted my input on the candidates, but this decision was solely based on staff recommendations. So I definitely gave my input, I gave my thoughts, but I went with what staff recommended. And I have to say, I've been through this type of process probably about 30, 40 times over the last 15 to 20 years. Working with staff and working with contractors and procurement, and I will tell you that working with our PDS staff is one of the best experience I've had, and I want to give kudos to the team. Very professional, everything was on the up and up, and so thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. Drummond. Just to add a little bit to Commissioner Simpson's comments. So. Just as a reminder, so the funding for this RFP has already been allotted within the PDS budget. There's $30,000 allotted in the budget for us to pursue this. So we're not going to be actually asking you to expend that money. That money's already been set aside. It's been budgeted for. And we're looking at a project timeline of approximately one year for the initial part of this project, and then the public engagement campaign will probably extend farther out beyond that. That would have to probably be handled through a separate RFP process. And so just to kind of let you know, so we did select a consultant called Community Scale. The Community Scale, they were the consultant that was involved and actually conducted the Northern Kentucky Area Development District's housing study. So they definitely have very deep, relevant experience, not only in the field of attainable housing, but actually in this area. And based on our review, we feel like they're going to be able to help us deploy some cutting-edge technology or cutting-edge tools to extend our capabilities and have an impact in this arena. So I promise to keep it short and sweet, but basically what we're asking the commission to do this evening is to authorize PDS Executive Director to negotiate and sign a contract with Community Scale. So that's our, I guess, request for you this evening.
You know, just one thing I want to highlight that Commissioner Simpson highlighted too is that this consultant's going to come back with a recommendation. And I just think about Z21 when we had the consultants came in and they came with recommendation and we didn't agree with everything that they came back with, right? I mean, we went through it and thought, okay, yes, you're landing on a lot of points, but some of this stuff we don't feel, you know, works here or is appropriate or what we need right now. And but nonetheless, I just can't imagine where, you know, where we would have ended up with Z21 had we not had that technical skill to help us working with the staff and working with the commission members on the committee. So I'm excited to see what they come back with. So thank you all for vetting them and getting us to this point. Yeah.
Andy, is Community Scale doing both parts of this that you outlined?
So they're going to be doing the analysis and recommendations, kind of like the first two parts of it, and then the third part, the public engagement, we're going to have to, you know, decide how that's going to move forward.
And so would that third part then that you're describing be outside of the $50,000 in addition to?
Yes.
Okay. And that has not been allocated at this point?
No, not specifically, but I will mention that in your next year's budget, there is, again, money set aside for hiring a consultant as well.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
When you say there's money set aside, is that in our budget it was? I don't recall.
Right, so in next year's budget, it's actually going to be within the Planning Commission's budget. For this year's budget, it got a little bit confusing. It was in PDS's budget. However, because this is a comprehensive planning related project, which is the purview of the Planning Commission, is why we're coming to the Planning Commission to seek this authorization.
But I guess my only concern is that it's not within our budget and we're authorizing you to spend money, even though it's PDS's money. If we want to make a recommendation to them, I would understand that. But us authorizing, I don't think we have the authority to authorize PDS to executive director to spend $50,000 of PDS's money. I mean, I don't know. That seems odd. Really doesn't matter. I'm not losing sleep over this, but I mean, I just want to understand because I feel like there's something, I appreciate all the efforts and this is exactly what, you know, the implementation committee is supposed to be doing, finding out, hey, probably need a consultant for this because we don't have enough experienced people on here and we want somebody with fresh eyes. Don't have an issue with it at all. this is an odd process and we need to, I just don't want later somebody to come back and say, hey, this is on you somehow.
I agree it is a little different, Paul. From my perspective, we're only authorizing it from the side of the Kenton County Planning Commission. It also has to be authorized on PDS side. So we're only, you know, part of it. We can authorize it, but PDS could shut it down if they don't want to, if it's not in accordance with their processes.
So we at least need, if we authorize it with conditioned on PDS approving or providing the funds.
I think we could just authorize it, and if they don't get PDS's approval, they didn't get, you know, it doesn't move forward.
Yeah.
I think just another kind of point to kind of get a little more color is, you know, historically, PDS would budget for consultants that were for our projects that we would reimburse PDS for. And I think in this process, as we start looking at things more closely, we want to, have more color, more exposure to exactly what we're doing, right, and what's being paid for these things, and so I don't even know if we really technically would need to do this, but I think it's a good practice to show that we're, from our standpoint, we're authorizing it.
Based on what you just said, Brian, didn't we put in and Andy, I don't have it with me, but did we not, when we talked about $50,000 that was in PDS's money where they paid for some of these things? This is annoying.
It's not your mic though.
And didn't we put that in our budget this coming year, correct?
Yeah, so next year, I think a lot of this will be, a lot of this kind of, what's the overlap and relationship here will be sort of avoided, but we're still under technically the current fiscal year, and the new fiscal year doesn't.
So would this not have been better just coming up next month, that we could have voted on it clean and clear and not have question?
Well, I guess the thing is we've got that money to spend this fiscal year, and so we want to make sure that we use it this fiscal year, or at least have the work and contract signed this fiscal year.
Would we be better off doing a recommendation than an authorization?
I think from PDS's side, they're going to feel better since it is within the purview of the Planning Commission to authorize the executive director to sign the agreement as it falls within our jurisdiction, but it's going to be on them to proceed and pay for the project.
And fund it, provided PDS funds it.
It's not lost on me that the lawyers are the only ones concerned about it.
And again, I'm not losing this there. I'm probably splitting the hairs. Yeah, let's
change slightly to pursuant to the request of PDS staff and the Direction 2030 Implementation Committee to clarify any misunderstanding or any concerns with regard to funding, that the commission agrees to authorize the PDF executive director so that we are clear that we're doing it pursuant to their request.
Is that a motion?
It is.
All right, so we have a first by Commissioner Vaughn, second by Commissioner Sketch. Would you call? Can we just by acclamation? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Do we lose some of our negotiating power by saying we can negotiate for $50,000?
That's true.
It's already been.
Yeah, that's what they came up.
Funny, they might toe the line a bit.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Executive report. Just one thing I want to talk about is, so with us getting rid of bylaws and social media, I'm looking at the committee appointments now, because we've got some folks that have disproportionate amount of committee responsibilities, and then we also have some members, especially some newer ones, that have indicated interest to really want to get in and start boots on the ground helping. So I am looking to make changes on the committees, especially if you're on two of the active committees. Be prepared for there to be a change perhaps there where you're just going to be on one. The other thing I'm looking at doing is maybe slightly expanding the committee size. For example, Z21, Commissioner Bridges before the meeting pointed out that he hasn't had a quorum at a couple of his meetings when he's had city representatives there, which is kind of embarrassing. But part of the problem, a major problem he's dealing with is his committee size is 6, so he needs 4, and one of his appointments is for a city that doesn't have a representative right now. And so, but if it's 7, now all of a sudden, it gets a little bit easier. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. If you're interested in getting off a committee, or you're interested in getting on a particular committee, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you.
I'd like to move from social media to bylaws, please.
Duly noted. I'm going to social media then.
All right, subdivision review.
We didn't need anything after we made the change and approved that change in the regs, which we had very positive response from. That was good. I still would like to start to really look at creating some of these subdivisions, a new ones starting to come online where we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of, if not thousands of units on a single entry, single access point. That drives me crazy. And we're going to, a tree fell up in Tuscany, and they were nobody could get up or down that road. So I just feel like we're doing a real disservice by not finding an answer to that.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Z21, Commissioner Bridges, what do we have on the horizon?
We just met last night. We did have a quorum. Crestview Hills came through and got our recommendation, and I believe they're going to submit and be on the July agenda. And if you would like to join the Z21, we don't meet that often because the cities are, there's not that many left, and they've only been coming through every few months, and our meetings are only about 30 minutes when we do have them. So if you'd like to be on the committee, see me or Chairman. Short meetings.
All right, thanks for that. All right, before we get to other reports and wrapping things up, I want to take an opportunity to recognize our secretary, Jennifer. As you all know, she takes the minutes for our meetings, but what most of you probably do not realize, she's been serving in that role since 1997. And she's served under 5 chairpersons and alongside countless commissioners. And she has probably spent more time than she cares to think about at our late night meetings, some of which have been very contentious, with public hearings and the like. And she's always handled everything with grace and kindness and professionalism, and we appreciate that. Beginning next month, the secretary responsibilities are going to be transitioned to PDS staff. And thankfully, Jennifer's agreed to be engaged by PDS for a transition period to help with that. But we will definitely miss her. We've got a small token for her and to thank her for all of her great contributions and dedicated service to the commission. And I would ask for a round of applause for Jennifer. We wish you the best. All right, next item, reports from commission members. Anybody? Reports from legal counsel?
Nothing to report?
Reports or announcements from staff? Oh
Really?
my God.
Wow. Quick, keep going, quick.
General correspondence. I didn't see that in my packet. I must have missed it. Oh, here it is. We got an email from Boone County on their Boone County Plan 2045, their comprehensive plan. Their project webpage has been updated to add the existing conditions information for the comprehensive plan elements. So, and they also have saved the dates. They've got in-person public engagement opportunities on July 7th in Hebron and July 17th in Union. So I've attended several of those meetings along the years when they've done it, and it's, there's so much development and growth going on there. It's pretty fascinating to see everything that they're working through there. So if you're interested in planning in general, that's something to keep an eye out on and get engaged on. All right, I don't have anything else. Do we have any new business? Any comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Thursday next week, starting at 5:30 at the Erlanger branch of the Kenton County Library, Link will be having its next community day. conversation, free and open to the public. It's about housing and solutions around housing, which is germane to the planning commission, so you all are welcome to that.
All right, so thank you very much. Thanks for Link's leadership on that. That's great. All right, that's all I've got. Do we have a motion to adjourn? First by Commissioner Snyder, second by Commissioner Darple. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.